Hello, my name is Carlos Millsap, and today I want to talk to you from my heart. Now, this is not just a presentation about money. This is not just a conversation about life insurance or retirement savings or wealth or financial products. This is really a conversation about my journey. It's about how I got here. It's about why I do what I do. It is about what I've learned over the years and what I wish I had known earlier in life, and why I feel such a strong responsibility to pass those lessons on to other people now. Because the truth is, I did not always understand money the way I understand it today. I did not grow up with all the answers. I did not grow up understanding how banks operate. I did not grow up understanding how wealthy families preserve wealth. I did not know or did not grow up understanding how money could be protected, controlled, leveraged, and passed from one generation to another. Like a lot of people, I grew up hearing the same things many of us heard: go to school, get a job, work hard, save some money, put money away for retirement, take risks if you want a bigger reward, hope the market works out, hope you stay healthy, hope your job lasts, hope retirement is there when you need it. And for many years, I thought that was just how life worked. But as I got older, I began to realize something. Hope is not a strategy, and working hard by itself is not enough. You can work hard your whole life and still end up financially vulnerable. If nobody ever teaches you how money really works, that realization changed me. It made me start asking deeper questions. Why do some people seem to struggle financially no matter how hard they work? Why do some families lose everything after one illness, one injury, one job loss, one market downturn, or one unexpected emergency? Why do banks and corporations seem to know something about money that the average family does not? Why do wealthy families continue to pass money from generation to generation while many working families have to start over every generation? These questions began to bother me, and those questions eventually became part of my life's mission. My personal journey into this industry, my journey into this financial services industry did not happen because I woke up one day and said, I want to sell financial products. That was not the heart of it. I got into this industry because I became passionate about helping people. I saw way too many families working hard but not understanding how to protect themselves. I saw people doing what they were told to do but still feeling financially stuck. I saw people with retirement accounts who did not fully understand how those accounts worked. I saw people with life insurance who thought they were protected, but many of them had only had coverage that would help their family after they died. And a lot of times that was not enough. I saw people who had no idea there were there were financial tools that could help them while they were still living. I saw school employees, teachers, business owners, parents, workers, and retirees who were trying to do the right thing, but they had never been properly educated. I understood that feeling because there were things I did not get a chance to fully understand when I was younger. There were principles I wish somebody had sat me down and explained. There were financial concepts I wish I had been exposed to in my 20s, 30s, and even 50s. Things like safe money, liquidity, compound interest, tax advantages, policy design, how banks use money, how corporations protect capital, how wealthy families think about legacy, how to use money without giving up control of it, how to protect yourself from the major financial threats of life. These are things I had to learn over time. And the more I learned, the more I realized I could not keep it to myself. I got to stop gatekeeping. So that's why I keep studying and honing my skills. One thing I want is for people to know about me, or one thing I want people to know about me is this: I'm still a student. I'm still learning. I'm still studying. I'm still honing my skills. I'm still trying to become better, not just for myself, but for the people I serve. Because in this industry, you cannot afford to stop learning. People are trusting you with real life issues, their money, their retirement, their children, their spouse, their business, their future, their peace of mind. That is not something I take lightly. So I study, I read, I listen, I research, I attend trainings, I look at strategies, I learn from people who have already done it at a high level. I pay attention to what banks do. I pay attention to what wealthy people do. I pay attention to what corporations do. I pay attention to history. And then I ask myself one simple question: how can I take these concepts and explain them in a way that everyday people can understand and use? Because see, knowledge is only powerful when it can be applied. It does not help people if it is too complicated. It does not help people if it is hidden behind fancy financial language. It does not help people if they feel intimidated, embarrassed, or confused. You see, my job is to simplify. My job is to educate. My job is to help people see what they may have been never shown before. What I wish and when I look back over life, there's some things I wish I would have known before. I think about all the financial lessons I wish I had learned earlier. I wish I had understood that saving money safely was not boring. I wish I had understood that having access to money was powerful. I wish I had understood that liquidity is one of the most important parts of a financial plan. I wish I had understood that taxes, fees, market losses, interest, and lost opportunity costs can quietly eat away at a person's wealth. I wish I had understood that banks do not operate the way ordinary people operate. I wish I had understood that wealthy people do not simply chase high returns. They protect capital, they control capital, they leverage capital, they keep money moving. They use financial system, they use strategies. They understand that money sitting in the wrong place can cost you opportunities. I wish I had understood that life insurance was not just about death. I wish I had understood that uh, that properly designed cash value life insurance policies could have living benefits or tax advantages or liquidity or protection or long-term wealth building potential. I wish somebody had explained to me in plain English, not in a sales pitch, not with pressure, not with confusion, not with trying to build some downline, just real education. That is why I do what I do now, because I may not be able to go back and teach my younger self, but I can teach somebody else. I can help a young person avoid mistakes. I can help a parent protect their family. I can help a teacher better understand retirement. I can help a business owner think differently about protection and cash flow. I can help someone approaching retirement understand safer options. I can help families begin to think generationally. That is what drives me. Society has trained people to think the wrong way about risk. One of the biggest things I want people to understand is that society has done a very good job of training us to believe something that I believe is dangerous. We have been taught the greater the risk, the greater the reward. You hear that everywhere. It sounds smart. It sounds like something a financial expert would say. But when you slow down and really think about it, you have to ask yourself, is that actually true? Because if the greater the risk always meant the greater reward, then the people taking the biggest risk would always be the wealthiest people, right? But that is not how it works. See, a person can take a big risk and lose everything. A family can put money in the market and watch it, years of saving disappear during a downturn like that. A retiree can take too much risk at the wrong time and never fully recover. A business owner can gamble on the wrong opportunity and lose their business. Risk does not guarantee reward. Risk only creates the possibility of reward, but it also creates the possibility of loss. So I believe the phrase needs to be challenged. Instead of saying the greater the risk, the greater the reward, maybe we should be saying the greater the knowledge, the better the decisions, the greater the control, the greater the confidence, the greater the protection, the greater the peace of mind, the greater the strategy, the better the outcome. Because wealthy people are not wealthy because they are reckless. Banks are not powerful because they gamble. Corporations do not survive because they throw money blindly into risky situations. They use systems. They use protection. They use guarantees where they can. They transfer risk. They insure risk. They preserve capital. They create access to liquidity. They use safe and efficient financial tools. And one of the tools banks and corporations have used for many years is life insurance. That should stop make people think. That should make people stop and think. If life insurance is only a poor person's benefit, why do banks use it? If life insurance is only something you buy and forget about it, why do corporations own it? If life insurance is not valuable, why has it been used by families, businesses, institutions for generations? Those are the kinds of questions I want people to start asking. How banks and corporations think differently. You know, banks think like banks, and that difference is huge. A consumer often asks, how much can I afford to spend? A bank asks, how can I control the flow of money? A consumer asks, what is my monthly payment? A bank asks, how much interest can I earn? A consumer asks, where can I get the highest return? A bank asks, how can I reduce risk and still make money? A consumer often gives up control of their money. A bank wants control. That is one of the biggest lessons I've learned. Control matters. Access matters. Liquidity matters. Protection matters. And when you look at banks and corporations, they often use financial tools that help them manage risk, protect against loss, and create long-term financial stability. You see, bank-owned life insurance and corporate-owned life insurance exist for a reason. You see, companies use life insurance for key person protection. Banks use it in connection with employee benefit obligations and other approved business purposes. Business owners use life insurance for buy-sell agreements, estate liquidity, and business continuation. You see, wealthy families use life insurance and estate planning to help transfer wealth and provide liquidity when it is needed most. Now, does that mean life insurance is the right fit for every person in every situation? No, nothing is right for everybody, but it does mean people should be educated before they dismiss it because many people have been taught to look down on life insurance without ever truly understanding how it works. So there's this guy named Gary Gunderson, and he helped me think about this. He's one of the financial voices I've learned from. Now, I'm not here to quote him word for word, but one of the things I appreciate about his message is that he challenges people to think differently about wealth. He talks about money making money, keeping money and growing money. He talks about financial efficiency. He talks about how people lose money in ways they do not always notice, and and this really connected to me because a lot of people think the only way to improve financially is to make more money. And yes, making more money can help, but if you are losing money through taxes, debt, interest fees, poor planning, missed opportunities, and unnecessary risk, then earning more may not solve the problem. Sometimes more money just creates bigger leaks. So one of the principles I've learned is this. Before you chase a bigger return, look at where your money is leaking. Are you losing money to interest? Are you losing money to taxes? Are you losing money to market volatility? Are you losing money because you do not have protection? Are you losing money because your money is locked up when you need it? Are you losing money because you have no strategy? That is a different way to think. And it is powerful because wealth is not just about accumulation. It is also about preservation. It is about efficiency. It is about protection. It is about control. It is about having money available when opportunity shows up. It is about not having to liquidate assets at the wrong time. It is about not having your entire future depend on things you cannot control. That is what I want people to understand. The wealthy use money differently. Now, one thing I've learned is that wealthy people often do not think about money the same way that the average person thinks about money. You see, the average person, people, they're often trained to put money away and not touch it, right? Well, wealthy people often want money to stay productive. They keep it in motion. They keep the money flowing. Average people are often trained to rely completely on qualified retirement plans. Wealthy people often diversify across strategies, including assets that provide liquidity, tax advantages, and protection. Average people are often told to chase rates of return. Wealthy people often focus on net results. What matters is not just what you earn, what matters is what you keep. What matters is how much control you have. What matters is how much risk you had to take. What matters is how accessible your money is. What matters is what happens when life does not go according to plan. Because see, life will happen. People get sick, people get injured, jobs change, markets go down, businesses struggle, family emergencies come, retirement comes faster than people expect. And when life happens, the question is not just how much do you have? The question is, where's your money? Can you access it? Is it protected? Is it exposed to unnecessary risk? Will it help you while you're alive? Will it help your family when you're gone? Will it create options? That is the way I want people to think. Life insurance is not just death insurance. One of the things I say often is that many people do not really have life insurance, they have death insurance. So, what I mean by that? I mean they have a policy that only helps their family when they die. Now, that is important, of course. Death benefit protection matters. If someone loves you, depends on you, or would suffer financially if you were gone, life insurance can be one of the most loving things you can put in place. But modern life insurance can be more than that. You see, some policies can provide living benefits. That means if you qualify under the terms of the policies, you may be able to access benefits while you're still alive. So if you suffer a qualifying critical illness like a heart attack, stroke, cancer, anything like that, a chronic illness, a critical injury, a terminal illness, or either some of the other covered events, that matters because people do not only need help when they die, they need help when they're living. People don't always die first. Sometimes they need help when they live through something, a heart attack, stroke, cancer, a major injury, a long-term illness, a condition that keeps them from working. These events can destroy a family financially. So when I educate people, I want them to understand that protection is not just about death. It is about protecting life, protecting income, protecting dignity, protecting choices, protecting the family, protecting the future. And when a life insurance policy is designed properly, it may also build cash value that can be accessed through policy loans or withdrawals. Policy loans keeps the money from being taxed, and it's really shrewd. We need to have a conversation about that. And depending on the type of policy and how it is structured, now, and that's where the education becomes so important because not all policies are designed the same. Not all policies are funded the same. Not every agent knows how to put all these policies together properly. Not all policies are used the same. Design matters, purpose matters, strategy matters. Historical examples that opened my eyes when I started learning about the history of cash value life insurance, it opened my eyes because I realized this was not some brand new idea. This was not something that just appeared yesterday. It was there before qualified plans like 401ks and 403bs. For generations, people have used life insurance as part of wealth protection, business planning, estate planning, and financial strategy. One of the stories often shared is Walt Disney. So when Walt Disney was trying to bring his dream of Disneyland to life, financing wasn't easy. The vision was big, the risk was real, and not everyone believed in it. But Disney reportedly borrowed against the cash value of his life insurance policy to help fund the early development of Disneyland. Now think about that. A life insurance policy helped create liquidity for a vision that became one of the most iconic brands and destinations in the world. Another example is J.C. Penney. During the Great Depression, James Cash Penney faced serious financial trouble. The economy was collapsing. Businesses were struggling. People were scared. And according to reports, he borrowed against life insurance policies to help meet payroll and keep the business going. That is powerful because that is not just theory, that is liquidity, that is access, That is having financial resources available when banks may not be able to help. And of course, Ray Kroc of McDonald's is another example that is often discussed. Stories about his early business journey point to him using cash value from life insurance policies during lean years to help support key business needs. Now, I always tell people, do not just hear these stories and think, I need to copy exactly what they did. That's not the point here. The point is for you to understand the principle. The principle is that cash value, liquidity, access, and control can create options. And options are powerful. When you do not have options, you may be forced to borrow from the wrong place, sell at the wrong time, or walk away from an opportunity. But when you have accessible capital, you can move differently. That is one reason I believe education in this area is so important. So I believe that this message is needed now more than ever because people, they're confused. They're overwhelmed. They're being pulled in every direction. One person says buy stocks. Another person says buy crypto. Another person says buy real estate. Another person says max out a retirement plan. Another person says pay off everything. Another person says take more risk. Another person says you're behind. And people are sitting there wondering, what should I do? Who should I trust? How do I protect my family? How do I prepare for retirement? How do I avoid making the wrong move? That is why I believe education must come before recommendation. Now, before ever I talk about a solution, I want people to understand the problem. What are you trying to accomplish? Are you trying to protect your family? Are you trying to create tax advantage retirement income? Are you trying to protect against market loss? Are you trying to leave a legacy? Are you trying to build cash value? Are you trying to create living benefits? Are you trying to reposition money that is sitting idle? Are you trying to make sure your spouse is okay if something happens to you? Are you trying to protect your business? Are you trying to avoid being forced to sell assets during retirement? The strategy should match the goal. That is why I do not believe in a cookie cutter financial advice. Everybody's situation is different. Everybody's family is different. Everybody's risk tolerance is different. Everybody's timeline is different. Everybody's health is different. Everybody's income is different. Everybody's purpose is different. So my role is to educate, listen, ask questions, and help people discover what makes sense for their situation. Okay? So what I want people to learn from me is that if you spend time with me, there's a few things I want you to walk away with. And that's understanding. I want you to walk away with understanding. And number one, I also want you to understand that money is a tool. Money is not the goal. Money is a tool that helps you protect your family, create options, support your purpose, and live with more peace. Number two, I want people to understand that safety matters. There's nothing wrong with growth. There's nothing wrong with wanting your money to increase. But if your entire plans depends on taking risks, you need to ask what happens if the risk does not work out. Number three, I want you to understand that control matters. If your money is locked up, restricted, heavily penalized, or fully exposed to the market loss, you may not have as much control as you think. Number four, I want you to understand that protection matters. Before you try to build wealth, you should ask what could destroy it? Illness, injury, taxes, death, lawsuits, market downturns, debt, inflation, bad planning, family conflict. A good financial strategy does not ignore threats. It prepares for them. Number five, I want you to understand that legacy matters. You're not just making decisions for yourself. Your decisions can affect your spouse, your children, your grandchildren, your business, your church, your community, your future. One good financial decision can bless a family for generations. One missing piece can create hardship for generations. That is why this work matters to me. Okay? And at this stage in my life, I feel a responsibility. I cannot go back and use everything I know when I was younger. I cannot go back and change every decision, be it good or bad. I cannot go back and recover every missed opportunity, but I can do something meaningful with what I have, what I've learned. I can pass it on. I can teach others. I can help people avoid mistakes. I can help family ask better questions. I can help people understand the difference between gambling and planning. I can help people understand the difference between saving and strategically positioning money. I can help people understand the difference between having a product and having a plan. I can help people understand that life insurance, when properly designed and properly used, may be more than what they thought. That's why I do this, not just to make a living, but to make a difference. Because when someone says, Carlos, I never knew this, that means a lot to me. When someone says, I wish I learned this years ago, I understand because I feel the same way. When someone says, now I can explain this to my children, that excites me. And I've sat down with many people who wanted to teach this to their children. Because see, now the knowledge can continue. That is how we change families. That is how we change communities. That is how we help people stop repeating the same financial patterns. So if you're listening to this right now, here's what I want you to know. You do not have to know everything today. You do not have to have all the answers. You do not have to be embarrassed about what you've never been taught. I want you to know that you have been brainwashed so that society and financial institutions can take advantage of you financially and keep you where you are. And most people never taught how money really works. Most people were never taught how banks think. Most people were never taught how wealthy families preserve wealth. Most people were never taught how to use safe money strategies. Most people were never taught how life insurance could be used while they are alive. So I don't want you feeling bad about that because you didn't know. Just make a decision now to learn. Because once you know better, you can do better. And once you do better, you can teach somebody else to do better. That is how the cycle changes. That is how we stop passing down financial confusion. That is how we start passing down financial wisdom. So in closing, my name is Carlos Millsap. My journey has been one of learning, growing, studying, making mistakes, big mistakes, asking questions, and discovering principles that I wish I had known earlier in life. Now, my mission is to pass those principles on. I help people learn how to save money safely, how to think differently about risk, how to use money more like the wealthy, how to protect their families, how to prepare for retirement, how to create options, how to understand life insurance beyond just a death benefit, how to see money as a tool for protection, purpose, and legacy. I believe society has trained too many people to take risks they do not understand. I believe families deserve better education. I believe people should know what banks, corporations, and wealthy families have understood for generations. And I believe that when people are properly educated, they can make better decisions. So my invitation to you is simple. Do not just accept what society has told you about money. Ask better questions. Learn the rules. Study what the wealthy do. Look at how banks operate. Look at how corporations protect themselves. Look at how families preserve wealth. And then ask yourself, is there a better way for me and my family? If this message made you think, then I would love to have a conversation with you. Not to pressure you, not to sell you something you don't understand, but to help further your education. It's for you to ask questions, to help you see what may be possible. Because the greatest investment you can make is not just in a product, it is in your understanding. When your understanding changes, your decisions change. When your decisions change, your future can change. And when your future changes, your family's future can change too. I want to thank you for listening. God bless you. And remember this, you do not have to be wealthy to start thinking like the wealthy, but you do have to be willing to learn. God bless you.